Hey, what is up, you guys? It's Evan back with another Madden 23 Lions franchise video. And this week, this episode, we're playing against the Carolina Panthers and the Chicago Bears and possibly the Packers if we can fit it in. And, I might be a little bit more quiet this episode because I'm recording at night. I was going to try to do this earlier in the day the last couple of days, but the power has been out and the internet's been out too because there's been a snowstorm in the area, which, it made a bunch of tree branches fall down and kind of like snap a bunch of power lines and the internet line. So I'm recording this a little bit later than I wanted to, but I'm not tired, so I felt like recording. Anyways, we don't have a lot of things we need to do this week. We're going to go ahead and go through the weekly strategy here against the Panthers. So they do have Derek Carr, and our defensive focus is, let's see, they have Nyheim Hines as their number one running back. I'm not too worried about that. We're going to worry about the short pass as usual. So we're going to advance through here. And then defensively, they are a 4-10 team. I'm not too worried about their team overall. They have Micah Hyde as their number one defensive player. Let's see. I think, I'm going to focus on running inside still just because, I want to make sure to continue to try to use the running game as much as we possibly can. And we'll start the training. And we're not doing half pads. Right now, we're still doing full pads. That's something that I may adjust in the coming weeks to avoid injury going into the playoffs. We have a couple upgrades before the game. One upgrade for Jaden Peavy, who is our backup D-tackle. He's very young, and we actually have not fully re-signed him yet, but he's 22 years old, and we may re-sign him before the end of the season, but we are getting low on cap, so we will have to wait until near the end of the season before we're going to do that. Looking at the Panthers roster, again, they have Derek Carr at QB. They have Nyheim Hines at halfback with Chase Edmonds as the backup. They have Stephon Diggs, so that is definitely going to be an issue. George Pickens, MVS, and Byron Pringle. At tight end, they have Travis Kelce, so they have a really good receiver and a really good tight end. They have a decent offensive line. Defensively, they have a decent defensive line. DJ Wanham at left outside linebacker, Jayon Brown at middle linebacker. So their linebackers are not all that good. They got James Bradbury and L'Jarius Sneed at corner with Jack Jones as the nickel. And so their corners are solid. Micah Hyde at free safety and Hufanga from the Niners at strong safety. So their DBs are very good, and their wide receivers and tight ends are very good. Starting out in shotgun here with Nyheim Hines. I'm not too worried about the run game here, but they are going to start off with the run, and Christian Harris gets blocked and kind of just runs into the side of an O-lineman, and Nyheim Hines is able to take it for 15 yards on the first carry. And I'm hoping that's not a sign of things to come as they get into a jumbo formation on the next play here. And they're actually running it to the right, and again, a good block, a little chip on Christian Harris, and they run it from big yards again. So even though I said I wasn't worried about the run game, they have come out and just gotten chunk yards, 15 and 17 on the first two carries for Nyheim Hines. And this time they're actually throwing here. They got a slant over to Stephon Diggs, and that's one of the top two targets we got to worry about. Stephon Diggs and then Travis Kelce, of course. I feel like this team in some ways is similarly constructed to our team because, Derek Carr is a solid QB, but he's not winning you games by himself, but he's surrounded by some really good receivers, a decent running back, and then defensively they got some young players that are pretty solid. Their DBs are very good. Watching the curl and almost jumping it with Surtain, but not quite. I wish Surtain had a little more play rec. He'd be able to jump that curl pretty easily. He's just letting him sit there for a while. We have been playing a lot of man on this drive so far. I've been paying attention to that. Watching Travis Kelce on this play. Oh, almost intercepted, but broken on the tackle here. Taking it all the way down to the one. Almost gets into the end zone. And they've had success on every single play thus far. We've got to figure out how to stop them a little bit. But George Pickens on the reception. And we're going to go ahead and run commit here. And finally, we get some pressure, force a loss of yards on a play. Coming out here on I form again. This looks like a definite run, but we are not going to be fooled into run committing necessarily. It is a run. We're trying to get to the gap. We're trying to get to the gap with Isaiah Simmons. We don't quite get there, but the defense does hold strong, and it is going to be 3rd and goal from the 2, and they are in an empty formation, so it's looking like a pass play. And it's a QB sneak. It's a QB sneak with Derek Carr, and they don't get it. That's wild. You know, I was a little bit worried about a potential jet sweep, but definitely not a QB sneak. And they're coming out in I form again here on 4th and goal, looking to go for it. And from the 3-yard line, I'm a little bit worried about, oh, it's a toss outside, and we're on top of it. Poor decision there to go for it, and a toss especially. I mean, from the 3-yard line, I'm thinking it's going to be a pass, but an outside run might be a decent idea, but we saw it all the way. And again, our focus for this game is to get the run game going, getting Ramondre involved early. We'll see how that holds up. Blocks are looking good, and Ramondre getting up to the 15 already on his first carry. Last week he did pretty well, not getting him a lot of touches in that game though. Again, he still is at that 3 rushing TDs for the entire season, which is something that we want to fix, but we're getting towards the end of the season. We only got a couple games left, 2 after this game. And we got pressure immediately off the play action. We get sacked by Dante Fowler. Coming out here, showing run. Probably be one of the last few plays of this quarter. And I do like Colby on this play if he can get open. I'm throwing high, and it is over Colby Parkinson's head. Hard to overthrow a 6'7" player, but somehow we have managed to do that. And again, they've had a balanced attack so far, running the ball and passing pretty equally. It's made it hard to key in on specific receivers so far. We do hold Nyheim Hines to a loss on that play, and that's going to be the last play of the quarter. We're sending Tariq on a blitz here. Tariq has been great getting sacks in the last few games for us, playing the nickel spot. And he is coming in hot as long as we can... Oh, he got there in time, but Derek Carr just throws it away, so it's not going to be a sack, but we do get the stop on 2nd down. It's going to be 3rd and long now. We're going to drop back into coverage. And Tariq Wall is just so versatile. We're playing over the top, watching underneath. And Tariq is there, and he's going to be out of bounds. It's going to be 4th and 8, and we do get another stop. The defense is playing so well to start the game. You know, 4th and 8, and from the 44, they're attempting a field goal here. I'm kind of surprised. And they miss it. It's not even close. We got to go back with Isaiah Simmons to potentially return, but it's going to be out of bounds. Yeah, that's a long field goal. That's in the 60 yards, definitely. Okay, we didn't have much success on our first drive. We're going to see what we can do on the second drive here. We're going to do a little play action again. Hopefully we don't get pressure this time. Oh, and Cooper Kupp sits on it and cannot hold on to it. I thought he was going to stutter and go, but he just sat on it on the curl, and we threw a high pass up to him for him to go get it. He had inside position. He kind of boxed out his defender, but was not able to hold on to the ball here. And, oh, Ramondre with a 6 stiff arm, throwing the D lineman to the ground. This is looking like man coverage. Everyone's lined up evenly, but it's not. It's zone. And Jamison over the seam again, but he drops it this time. And Kirk is 0 for 3 at this point, not for a lack of trying. He's had some receivers that have been there to catch passes, but there have been a lot of pass breakups, and then one overthrow to Colby Parkinson. We're going to be punting, and this is in the back of the end, so we should try to angle that one a little bit better. They're going to be starting at the 20 here, and it is a 0-0 game. And they have like an inverse record to us. So we have a 10-4 record. They have a 4-10 record. So you'd think that we would be able to come out here and have a little more success. But Kenneth Murray coming down through the hole and getting the tackle for the loss on Nyheim Hines again. Last couple of runs, we have completely stuffed their run game. And that makes it a lot easier for us to play the pass and kind of key in on important receivers when we can kind of stop the run. And on 2nd down, I think that was an incompletion. It was. And it's going to be 3rd and 11 here. Empty shotgun formation. We're playing cover 2. I don't like it. I'm going to switch to cover 3. And we got like a little bit of a man coverage here. I'm playing underneath. There's a guy over the top that's low-key wide open. And he just sits there and is able to catch the ball for the 1st down. Kind of just picking apart the zone. He had plenty of time to dissect the defense and get it to George Pickens on that play. Definitely too much time. We should have had someone else going and getting some pressure. Run the football again here, and we tackle him for a gain of 0 yards. Doing well in the run game so far, but we gotta stop him on the pass. Second down. Watching it, but over the middle. Nice catch by Stephon Diggs. I was definitely looking for a screen pass on that play, and I just completely left my zone, and that is me. You know, typically I feel like I'm playing pretty good user coverage with Christian Harris, but, you know, the last couple of games have not been solid, and Nyheim Hines almost breaks it away for a gain of 7. It's 2nd and 3 now, and this might be the last play before the 2-minute warning. In single back formation here with 3 receivers out left, and it's play action. We're dropping back into coverage, and we get the interception. Is that a pick? That was the 2-minute warning. I can't tell. We do have the ball. And who steps up here and gets this interception? I think that's Eric Stokes. Ball hawking it. And it is Devin McCourty, actually, playing in the flat. And he's able to just catch it and tiptoe before going out of bounds. Great interception against MVS. And again, we have not had much success on offense, often getting stopped, not able to complete a pass so far. Blocks are looking good, though, and we're able to get upfield quickly, breaking 1 tackle at least. And Ramondre having great success running the football, but whenever we get into a little play action or we get into the passing game, we have not seen much success. But I guess I'm gonna commit to Ramondre a little bit more on this drive, continue to run the football. We got great blocks. Ramondre able to throw a man off of him, breaking a couple more tackles, and able to pick up another first down and 4 carries now for 37 yards. He is feasting against this Carolina Panthers defense. And again, if he's having success, I don't want to go away from it. Another counter play here. Getting a couple yards, not a bad run. 49 seconds here, and we do have to pick up the tempo a little bit. I do like the option to pass here to Colby Parkinson on the corner route, and he is pretty open here. He comes back underneath to grab the ball. It was man coverage. Call our first timeout here with 36 seconds left. Coming out empty here, so we are looking to pass for sure with this much time left. Jamison and the seam might be open again here, and he is. This time he's just got to hold on to it, and he does. We're going to call another timeout. Got 1 timeout left with 32 seconds left. Again, we're going to come out empty here. Depending on what coverage this is, it looks like Cordarrelle might be open, and he is. He's wide open for the corner touchdown, but they get pressure just in time. I realized it was cover 2, and I was just waiting for Cordarrelle to get himself open, but we did not have quite enough time there. And Jamison getting pressed, throwing it up to him, seeing if he can make a play. He's been so good, but it's just out of bounds. On 3rd and 10, we definitely want to get a first down. We don't have to get into the end zone here. We just have to get a first. There's 20 seconds left. We do have our 1 timeout. Calling a couple audibles here. Got Cooper. I'm going to put him on a slant. I think he'll be able to get open here. We got him underneath. He is open for the first and comes down right at the 5. 17 seconds left. We got a couple shots in the end zone. Yeah, we've had some issues in the last couple of games with turning it over once we've gotten into the red zone, but I am trusting Cooper here. Oh my God, what an absolutely terrible pass by me. And Micah Hyde just completely reads it, gets the interception down at the 15-yard line. Almost was a pick 6. And I kind of jinxed myself a little bit. You know, I was looking for that curl all the way. I should have thrown with more anticipation. We do get the tackle on Nyheim Hines. That was almost scary there. He almost got to the edge and broke away. But with 5 seconds left, that's going to be the end of the first half. 0-0, a very defensive game. We had the chance to take a 7-0 lead there, but it was my mistake, Kirk Cousins' mistake, to throw that pick there. And again, not throw with anticipation, not really throwing it before Cooper Kupp made his kind of turn in the route. But okay, we start with ball to start the 3rd quarter, and of course we want to make up for that mistake of turning the ball over in the end zone. And with this much time, we can definitely focus on running the ball a little bit more like we had success with early in that drive. Kind of throw the defense off balance a little bit. Run a little bit of a counter here, see if we can get some opportunities, get some good blocks, and if we did not get caught on our O-line, we would have been able to go through the hole and probably get significant yards. And this looks like zone defense here. Got some players underneath. Julio with the catch, almost getting us to the first. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Again, the numbers passing are not great right now, but the run game has been Very good. Blocks have been fantastic. Cordarrelle picking up the first. Doesn't get touched until he at least gets the first down. And again, this is a must-win game because the Bears are right on our tail, and we play them next week. So we cannot afford to lose any game. I like Cooper here, one-on-one. The pass, though, gets intercepted off the tip. I thought Cooper burned his man, but again, not throwing with anticipation, allowing the DB to make a play on the ball because it was not lofted in the air. It was a bullet. He was able to get a hand on it and also recover from his own tip and get the pick. And so far, Kirk has 2 picks this game. And Nyheim Hines gets crushed in the backfield. The defense is playing out of their minds, holding them to 0 points through this point, and also just destroying their run game after the beginning of the game. And again, we just need to set our defense up and, oh man, able to complete a pass to MVS. The defense has played so well this game, and we are not helping on offense at all. Watching the curls, watching the flats, he just throws it away. We have everything covered on that play. Running a little bit of a man blitz here. I think if this is play action, Tariq Woolen is in there for the sack. I don't think they're running it on 2nd and 10, and they actually are. But we do still get in the backfield with Tariq, and it's going to be a loss of 2 and 3rd and 12 now. They're still in field goal range at the 40. We want to get them out of field goal range so they can't take the lead. But they have a lot of receivers out when they have an empty set here. Playing over the top. Eric Stokes is there to make a play, but Devin McCourty with the interception, and Devin McCourty has his 2nd pick of the game, falling down at the 2-yard line off of the pick, or off of the tip from Eric Stokes, and the defense is playing so well. Now, starting from the 2, we cannot afford a turnover. We're going to go ahead and be a little bit more conservative, running with Ramondre, who has been playing so well. Great blocks, past the 10, up to almost the 15. Yeah, Ramondre is having a great game. Going to go into pistol here and run a little halfback dive. I don't really like the blocking on this play. Doesn't seem to usually hold up. But Ramondre can just run over a couple people and pick up yards himself. But Jamison coming down with an injury, holding his stomach. Hopefully that's not serious as we try to make this playoff push. Now, we've had success with this run in the past with Cooper Kupp. We've also had fumbles when we had Malik Willis on the field. And Cooper Kupp doesn't do a great job of following his blockers there, and we do lose 1 yard on that play. With Jamison out now, Marquise Goodwin is in as our number 3 receiver. Cooper Kupp, though, streaking downfield, able to pick up the first and breaking a couple tackles, following his blockers, almost is able to make even more out of the play. Cooper Kupp trying to take the team and put it on his back with Ramondre. And it looks like Jamison's injury is not too serious, but we are going to sideline him temporarily. We don't want him to get injured. Another run here with Cooper. Cooper able to get the edge, pick up a couple extra yards. Able to get on the positive side of yardage in the run game here. Keeping him in the backfield here has been a little bit interesting. Seeing what the defense is doing. We got him one-on-one with a linebacker, throwing it up. Can he get to it? He holds onto the football. And that is a mismatch. When we can play man, or when we can get them into man defense and we have Cooper in the backfield, Cooper matched up with a linebacker is just not fair. That's exactly what the... Oh, wow. Julio's in the backfield now. We're going to go ahead and switch out of this, actually, because I do not want to see Julio back here. Mostly because of the carrying, not because I don't trust him to actually run the ball. Ramondre gets hit immediately after getting the ball, and he's going to lose yards on this play. It's going to be 2nd and 11. And going into the 4th quarter, it is 0-0. What an odd game to be 0-0. I did not anticipate this. And Ramondre not on the field, running a little play action here. Cooper through the seam here, able to pick up a couple yards, get us down to the 17, and we are now in the red zone again here. Kirk with 2 picks, 1 in the red zone already. We need to just be a little bit more conservative when we're down here and just run the rock. We got Cordarrelle in for this play, and it doesn't look like they have a lot of people in the box, so this could be very successful, but they're able to shed the block just in time in the double team and leave us with a loss of 1. Okay. In shotgun again here, this time with Ramondre on 2nd and 11. Getting great blocks, and man, the defender's able to keep his feet. Hufanga, the safety, looked like he got chop blocked there, but then he got back up and was able to make a play and get the tackle. Looks like we got man coverage here underneath. We got Marquise Goodwin streaking, can't quite get the first. It's going to be 4th and 3. With how the defense has played and our struggles in the red zone, getting turnovers, we are going to go ahead and take this field goal here. This is definitely conservative. Normally I would be going for this, but with the lack of success we've had, Just want to be safe, get points on the board this late in the game with it being 0-0. Because I trust our defense to at least hold them to a field goal. Coming out here in another kind of jumbo formation with multiple tight ends. We're trying to match up. They're running to the right here. Able to get the tackle after he gets about 4 yards. And our defense is steadily climbing the ranks. I remember the last time I saw this when we were 24-25, and we've moved up from 25 to 22, trending in the right direction. And our defense has been playing obviously outstanding in this game, holding them to 0 at this point. Looks like they're committing to the run a little bit more here in I form. Christian Harris gets there for the big tackle. 13 carries for 44 yards, not bad in the ground game, keeping them to short gains after those first 2 carries for each 15 or more. Now 3rd and 6, definitely a passing down situation. We're watching everything over the middle, but deep middle, and Stephon Diggs does get open against Surtain. And a new set of downs for the offense here, 2.5 minutes left. And I'm confident that we can hold them to a field goal, but they are burning time down, so that's going to give the... It could put us in a situation where we're in overtime again. I do not want to see that. Watching the out, watching underneath. And again, Christian Harris coming down, making a big hit. Isaiah Simmons there to help on the tackle. I'm watching a corner. I'm watching the curls. Oh no. They do throw it out of bounds, luckily. Whew, that was almost dangerous in cover 2 there. They had multiple people streaking downfield. Luckily, it's out of bounds. We're in cover 2 again here. This is definitely risky. We're watching over the middle, and we get a sack by Calais Campbell. One of his first sacks of the season that I've seen. He usually does not get much pressure. And on 4th and 15, they have to go for it at this point. We're going to be playing man coverage. And we're stuck on Calais Campbell. Oh no, oh no. Break up the tackle. We can't break up the pass. And it's going to be 1st and 10 here. We're scrambling to get back. They're trying to fire. They get a pass into Nyheim Hines over the middle here. They're going a little no huddle, or they were, but they're still in no huddle. Okay. We got LJ Ford on the field right now. I do not like this. Watching deep middle. They throw it to the sideline, and it's going to be an incomplete. It's going to be 3rd and 8. We're going to be able to move people on defense around and get LJ Ford off of the field. He's just a liability in pass coverage for the most part. I do like him a decent amount in run support, but obviously Christian Harris is just better at that. Kenneth Murray is just a better all-around linebacker as well. And they throw it away on 3rd and 8, which is kind of perplexing there. Not even picking up short yardage, and it's going to be 4th and 8, and they're going to take the field goal from the 35. And we just got to see if they can hit it here. We got all 3 timeouts coming down and answer. And it is no good. It is short. Wow. Who is their kicker? My God. That was like a... That wasn't even that long. That was like a 40-something yarder. Oh, they have Rosas as their kicker. That's surprising to me that he couldn't even get it there from the 35. And with 57 seconds left, after missing the field goal, we're just going to go ahead and run the ball. Good blocks. Ramondre able to break some. Getting significant yards after getting hit in the backfield, picking up 6. And they use their second timeout. They only have 1 left. And I think this is as good as over. There's only 50 seconds left in the game. I think we have a good chance of just running this one out. Getting the good block. Cooper Kupp. And we get to the outside, picking up significant yards. And this is the end of the game. We're going to go ahead and take a knee here in one of the lowest scoring games. Definitely the lowest scoring game that we've played all season. And this may very well be our first shutout of the season. So hats off to the defense here. Playing outstanding. The offense could not do much, but the defense is the reason why we won this game. Winning a game where you score 3 points is insane. And that's the final stat line, 3-0. Now looking at the stats from the game, Derek Carr with a 44 passer rating, Kirk with a 40. Both with 0 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Not throwing for many yards either. Running the ball, Ramondre significantly outperforming Nyheim Hines, and that is probably the reason why we ended up winning the game. Just purely the ground game. Receiving-wise, Cooper Kupp having a great game. Coming and, taking some snaps back at running back in the backfield. He ended up only having 2 actual rushes, but he had a couple catches out of the backfield where he was lined up against linebackers. So, interesting. Definitely looking to possibly use that formation a little bit more with Cooper Kupp. Colby Parkinson having 1 catch. Jamison with only 1 catch before going down with an injury. Marquise and Julio coming down each with 1 catch as well. And Travis Kelce, not much of a factor in that game. Only 1 catch for 4 yards. Defensively, leading the way with tackles was Surtain and Kenneth Murray Jr. Getting a sack was Calais Campbell. A couple tackles for a loss. Devin McCourty with an outstanding game. Honestly, Eric Stokes deserves credit for that second interception for tipping the ball, so Devin McCourty could pick it off. But the first interception was fantastic, tiptoeing out of bounds almost on the first pick, but having himself a great game, and that is exactly why we traded for him. After the game, Max Crosby has an upgrade. And I'm going to go ahead and upgrade his speed rushing. Just want to get his overall up a little bit more. If we could get to 95, that'd be fantastic before we upgrade some of his other categories. And he does get +2 to zone, so that is nice. All right, and now we are playing against the Chicago Bears. The Bears ended up losing their last game, so now they are 9-6. So we have a 2-game advantage on them in the division. Of course, if they were to win this game, we would be 11-5 and they would be 10-6, which would make it come down to the last game where we would be playing against the Packers. And we don't want to leave it to that. Obviously, 2 divisional games in a row. Anything can happen. So we got to come out here, and this is for the number 2 seed. And actually, yeah, it is for the number 2 seed, potentially for the number 1 seed even, depending on what the Saints record is. And looking at the Saints record, they're 12-3. So if they were to lose, 1 or 2 of their last 2 games, that could put us in a position to take over as the number 1 seed and secure ourselves a bye in the wild card. And in an absolute must-win game, we are coming out here with the gray jerseys. And in our previous matchup against the Bears, we lost 27-2 in Chicago, getting absolutely crushed by the Bears and Marcus Mariota. And we have got to come out here and play so much better. Playing at home is definitely going to give us some confidence, though. This team is well-rounded. They have George Kittle as well. Their defense is fantastic. They have a lot of talent around Marcus Mariota. And they can definitely score. It is hard to stop their offense, so we got to come out here and have a much better game than we did last game. And starting off with a huge couple of blocks with Ramondre breaking one free for 20 yards to start off with. And Ramondre having his best couple of games late in the season. And that's exactly what we'd like to see. An I form here, doing a little play action here. See if they bring pressure. We got some time. And just throwing it out of bounds. See if we can catch the defense off balance. Although they do have a light box right now. I think I'm going to... yeah, we're going to go ahead and run it here. Blocks are holding up. Cordell just following his blockers. Didn't actually follow the play exactly. Picking up only 3 yards on the play. Now coming out in more of a jumbo formation again here. I think we're going to go ahead and actually run it on 3rd and 7. This is definitely controversial. Ramondre getting yards, and it's going to be a 4th and 4 situation. Definitely on the longer end of going for it here near the 50-yard line, but we are going to go for it. We got to establish ourselves early. Yeah, dominate. And obviously this is going to be a huge momentum boost if we get it. Yeah, Jameson underneath, able to break away on the zig. Just a fantastic man-beating route. Can also beat zone sometimes as well. In shotgun again here, going to run it with Ramondre. Blocks are looking good. Ramondre able to not do much, actually. Picking up 3 yards, not bad, not great. And Ramondre, being our workhorse. Some games he's getting a lot of carries, some games he's not getting a lot of carries, but he has never complained. Getting a stiff arm off before we get dragged down to the ground. It's going to be 3rd and 3. But yeah, Ramondre has just been absolutely fantastic for us. It's hard when he's not the fastest player, but the O-line has done a very good job. We have a couple people open over the middle. Jameson catching the ball. But yeah, it's hard when he doesn't have a ton of speed. But, he's able to just get shifty, break a couple tackles. He's definitely elusive for more of a power back here. Faking the jet sweep, forcing a one-on-one with Minkah Fitzpatrick, and Minkah gets thrown to the ground by Ramondre. In our previous matchup, Minkah had 2 interceptions in the red zone. Definitely part of the reason why we only scored 2 points. A couple good blocks here. And we don't want to make that same mistake. Already 40 yards rushing for Ramondre on this first drive, and we are taking our time, running significantly more than we're passing. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. Keep running the football. bringing it outside a little bit more than I would have liked to, getting it down to the 4. And one thing we have not been great at this season is scoring in the red zone in larger run formations with Ramondre, and that is why he struggles so much to get into the end zone and get a couple of rushing touchdowns, getting it down to the 2 now on 3rd and goal. And we are not backing down, though. We've had success running the football. We just got to trust our O-line. Our O-line is almost all award-winning caliber O-linemen. With 10 seconds left, 3rd and goal here, this is going to be a huge momentum builder if we can secure this touchdown. And the hole is massive. The O-line does a great job blocking. And finally, Ramondre scores his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. Finally tying Cordarrelle, who has significantly less carries. And taking 5 minutes and 40 seconds off the clock. Just having a surgical drive. You know, we had a couple scary moments there on 4th down near midfield. Picking up that 1st down was huge, and then obviously on 3rd and goal, getting that run for the touchdown, just believing in the O-line and believing in Ramondre to get us into the end zone. And Marcus Mariota come out and onto the field, and it is always a little bit jarring seeing him wear number 1 because you think Justin Fields, but 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, having just probably the best season of his career. And we got to come out here and we got to play a whole lot better than we did in our first game against him. And a lot of that comes down to having a little bit more of a spy going. I'm dropping on this, and we get pressure immediately on 1st down, and we've got all the momentum. DeMarcus Lawrence with the sack. Starting the 2nd quarter off. They're definitely in another balanced formation. They do like to do this quite a bit here with our tight end on the right here with George Kittle, and they're going to run it to the left. Getting good blocks up the middle on 2nd and 19. It's going to be 3rd and 8. Saquon with a nice run in shotgun formation now, dropping back into coverage. Gotta watch for the scramble a little bit here too. And he does scramble. Christian Harris dropping down, and he slides before he can get to the first one. It's going to be 4th and 2. We were able to get back just in time. I did not have enough time to get somebody into a spy, so we got lucky there. We were there with the interception with Christian Harris, potentially if Marcus Mariota was throwing it over the middle, and then Christian Harris with the speed to get back and actually play the QB scramble. And they're showing Ramondre's stats, and finally getting that elusive 4th rushing TD. I'm sure he's happy about that. I'm sure he would have loved a lot more rushing touchdowns this season, but at least he's getting plenty of touches. Ramondre breaking off from his O-lineman, getting 9 yards on the 1st run, and again, the run game is not always pretty, and it's not always fun to watch, but it's effective. Definitely for us at least. And Jameson underneath, wide open, no one there. Getting to the side and breaking a tackle from... Oh, he just slid down, but breaking off the tackle from Minkah Fitzpatrick, having himself a great run after the catch. And the offense is firing on all cylinders. We got to stop on our first drive on defense, so feeling very good right now. It almost feels like the inverse of what happened in Chicago so far. And we don't want to lose any more momentum. We want to continue to put it on the Bears. And we cut back there. Nice cutback. Got, no yards on that play, but we probably would have lost yards if we stayed with the running lane we were supposed to go into. 3rd and 6 here. This is definitely a passing situation, but I think I'm actually going to run it with Ramondre again here. Although they do have their safety dropping down. We're going to go ahead and actually pass it here on this RPO. And Colby Parkinson, sure-handed, able to pick up the 1st on 3rd and 6. A huge catch. Greg Newsome acting like he just made a huge play, but we picked up the 1st anyways. And they have no linebackers over the middle right now. Everyone down at the line, so if we can get past the initial line, we do. Trying to run over Minkah, and we're able to break the tackle before getting stopped at the 12. Ramondre with 75 rushing yards, and this is a fantastic start for him. One of his better games of the season for sure. We do have the opportunity to potentially pick up a 1st on this drive. Breaking a tackle, just trucking. Who was that? Deshaun Elliott. Jameson coming down with another injury, either to his ribs or to his abdomen. And he had the same injury last game. Again, following the blockers, trying to, at least to the best of our ability. And it's going to be 3rd and 6. Jameson has broken ribs. I hope he's not out significantly, or for a significant amount of time. 3rd and 6 here. Running the football again. Great blocks. Almost getting into the end zone, down at the 2. We do pick up the first, which is huge. And we're just going to continue to run it with Ramondre here. Going to get him touchdown number 5 if we can. Breaking that first tackle, but still getting brought down at the 5, losing 3 yards on the run. I kind of expected something like that to happen. Sometimes in our I form and our, like our definite, like, run offense, sometimes they just break through the line. It's insane. Kyle Juszczyk, though, leading the way, getting the lead block on the safety, so no one's there in the hole. And that was a freebie. Another methodical drive. First drive was 14 plays. The second drive was 11. Taking 9 or 10 minutes off of the clock. So they only have 50 seconds to work with here. And we have seen teams in the past able to score with 50 seconds left on us. So we cannot take this lightly. But probably the biggest downside of that last drive was Jamison Williams coming down with broken ribs near the end of the drive, and we don't know how long he's going to be out for after that. That is a significant blow to the defense, or to the offense, I mean. Trying to throw it out in the corner, and that is going to be an incompletion. 2nd and 10. We do have LJ Fort in right now in big nickel, so that is dangerous. We got to watch for Marcus Mariota's scrambling ability as well. We're watching everything underneath, and we get pressure in time before we can throw it to the curl over the middle. And it's going to be 3rd and 10. On 3rd and 10. It looks like they're committing to the run here in this jumbo set. They're going to bring Isaiah Simmons down a little bit. And it is a run, and we are able to stuff it immediately for a loss of 1 with Saquon. And we're going to call a timeout here with 40 seconds left. We do have 1 timeout. See if we can make anything happen here. And the Bears did not take it easy on us when they beat us 27-2, and we are not going to take it easy on them either. Ramondre with 18 carries in the first half and 2 touchdowns. An absolutely insane stat line. Very Derrick Henry-like. Cooper with potentially one-on-one coverage on the outside here. There is safety help, though. But not Jamison, what am I saying? Marquise Goodwin. Jamison is out. And that is definitely a downside that we are going to have to kind of alter our passing game around, not having that speedster over the middle as much. Marquise is obviously very fast as well, but he's not nearly as tall, and he's actually a slightly slower as well. On 3rd and 10 with 20 seconds left, we can't make anything happen. It is what it is, but almost an interception because Marquise Goodwin did not, attack the football on that potential catch. They even an opportunity for the safety to almost make a play on it and get the pick. And they're not going to take it out of the back of the end zone. So to start the 3rd quarter, the Bears are going to have the football, and they're going to have a chance to come down here. And Saquon having very similar stats to Ramondre this season. But they're going to come down here, and they're going to have the opportunity to come and try to answer this 14-0 lead right now. And they need this win. 9-6 right now. If they were to lose, they'd be 9-7. They might be out of a wild card spot. Saquon getting 3 yards on the carry to start off with. But yeah, this is definitely a must-win situation for them because they are in danger of not making the wild card. On the other hand, if we were to lose this game, they could potentially come back in the division if we were to lose the next couple of games. And Saquon breaking multiple tackles before being brought down by 3 defenders at the 33-yard line. It's going to be 3rd and 2 now. They're coming out in a jumbo set again here, being very, definitely run focus on offense here. Running it outright again and almost getting the tackles, Kenneth Murray Jr., before Saquon breaks like 4 more tackles, but finally is brought down for a loss. It's going to be 4th and 4, and they're going to finally punt the football a little bit. Saquon trying to do his best Beastquake impression there, breaking several tackles every play, but not enough to carry his team, and they do finally have to punt it, luckily. And we have full momentum at this point in the game. We've been chewing a lot of clock, not intentionally, just by running the ball. And the run game has been working. And, if it's not broke, don't fix it. As long as Ramondre is feeling good, is able to run the ball, and we're picking up chunks like this every single play. Of course, I do want to get the receivers involved, but look at these holes. That's what she said. But, we've had issues in the past against the Bears even where we had success running the ball, but then we throw it and we throw a pick. Great blocks again here. And Minka is just still playing so far back, playing for the pass, it seems like, not really coming down in run support. We're able to pick up chunk after chunk every single run The blocks are holding up. Ramondre's doing a great job of breaking tackles. Kyle Juszczyk kind of misses there, but still picking up 7 yards. And Cooper Kupp has an injury now, holding his ribs. What's going on in this game? Why are my receivers coming down with rib injuries so often? Just run blocking. Able to pick up the first again on 2nd and 3. And it looks like Cooper Kupp has a pec strain, and we're not going to chance anything. We're going to have him sit until he's ready to go. So Julio and Marquise Goodwin are our receivers right now, and luckily that doesn't really matter with how much success we've had running the ball, as we run it well again with another first down. But, you know, if we were in a situation where we were down, that would definitely be scary right now. Julio, I think, has only caught like 20-something passes on the season, but throwing a great block here, and we almost break it for the touchdown. But Cunningham, Zach Cunningham, able to make the shoelace tackle on Ramondre before he can get into the end zone. Definitely got to take our time here. This could put the game away here. Just following our blockers, not able to quite break that tackle off, losing a yard on the play. Ramondre with 26 carries. And it almost feels like he's not even fatigued. He's getting stronger every play. It's almost like that stat that they show about Derrick Henry where he just gets more and more yards as the game goes on. But this time, coming back into the backfield and forcing us for a loss and putting us into a passing situation on 3rd and 12. And with our receivers out, kind of our #1 receiver on this play is Colby Parkinson. And we're going to throw it to him up over the middle. He can't hold on to it. Surrounded by 3 defenders on the play. I don't blame him. He hasn't had much opportunities to catch the ball in this game or the last couple of games, so you know, he hasn't really faced pressure like that to catch, and that is definitely a difficult ask for him to catch over 3 people. So taking the field goal, though, is fine. 17-0. We've done fantastic on defense, holding them to 0 points up through this point, and we have taken so much time off the clock every single time we've had possession that we have really put them in a situation where they've got to pass. In that last drive, Saquon, you know, it was only 14-0. Saquon had plenty of opportunities to run the ball for first downs. And, you know, he breaking multiple tackles, but we were able to finally get the stop. And now I think they're in a situation where they can't rely on Saquon. They've got to worry about throwing the football downfield. And Surtain getting the interception and the pick 6. And Marcus Mariota was feeling that pressure to throw it downfield. They knew they couldn't run anymore. And Surtain was waiting on the curl the whole way. And that might just be the game. And an absolute 180 of what happened in our previous game in Chicago. Losing 27-2. Now it's 24-0 our way. And this could be a great opportunity for us to knock the Bears out of the playoffs after being in contention for them to take over the NFC North this whole season. I'm sure Chicago fans are going crazy right now. And they definitely are feeling that pressure again. Mariota just throwing the pick, but they got to keep passing here if they want to stay in this game at all. George Kittle just getting the pass, just barely lofting to him, and Isaiah Simmons cannot quite read the route and get the pick. And that's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter, and we're going to the 4th here with a 24-0 lead. And again, we're selling out completely in the passing game. We know they got to pass it in shotgun here. I'm not worried about the run. Over the middle again. Getting the tackle for short yardage, so more and more time is burned off. Mariota with only 5 pass attempts this game. And to be fair, this is one of the first situations where they've actually picked up some first downs. Underneath, Christian Harris with a great tackle on George Kittle one-on-one, and that is why he is our up-and-coming middle linebacker, playing so well in man coverage against one of the best tight ends in the game, getting a sure tackle. Throwing the out here, and George Kittle picking up the first. And just as we were saying, we're playing great coverage in man. They're able to get the first down, but not for big yards, so it's okay. Kind of worried that everyone's split out here. Dropping back into coverage. Got to watch the flat a little bit too, and they do throw it to the flat on the left side. Tariq Woolen trying to get the big hit, but we force him out of bounds. It's going to be 2nd and 1. In shotgun again here. Not too worried about the run, although they're probably looking to get this first down. They're actually not, surprisingly. We're playing double teaming George Kittle essentially on that play, but Keenan Allen's able to pick up the first down. And surprisingly, our defense has moved down in the rankings after holding the Panthers to 0 points. Definitely surprising. Not sure how that happened. 1st and 10. George Kittle is open on the corner route, but we get pressure in time to force Mariota to his left. Doesn't have the opportunity to throw that pass. And an empty set here. I'm not too worried about the scramble. I don't think he's going to do it. Watching the second slant. And he tries to go for the scramble, but DeMarcus Lawrence with his second sack of the game. And the defense is playing amazingly. This is the most locked in our defense has been in a while, and I think they know that this is one of the biggest games of the season. Coming down, dropping down on the flat, and laying the big hit is Christian Harris. 4th and 7 here, and they're in a situation where they have to go for it. And they're going to probably have to force something up here. We're playing a little contain. I'm watching over the middle with Christian Harris. Got George Kittle streaking down the field. It's a 4-vert situation, one-on-one to the corner, and Eric Stokes can't get the interception. And they come down and moss us on the play. I can't believe this. We're on everything. Christian Harris is covering Keenan Allen in the seam. Eric Stokes one-on-one back corner of the end zone. It doesn't look like Jarvis Landry is going to be able to keep his feet inbounds, but he does, and he just mosses Eric Stokes. And an absolute 180 of a situation that could have happened there. You know, like we have him in a 4th down situation. We've held him to 0 points at this point, and they just come down with an insane play. Oh, and Isaiah Simmons can't quite read the 2-point conversion interception, and they convert, and technically it is a 2-possession game here, and they're going for the onside with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. And we do pick it up with Josh Jones, so that is great, and he does not fumble. We do not have full momentum anymore, but what I can say is that I trust in our ground game, and I'm sure they're looking for us to run, but I have confidence that we're going to be able to run this out. Although the first run was not promising, we only gained 1. And we can take this down to the 2-minute warning, and we're going to. They do have all 3 timeouts still, but they would have to get an onside for sure at this point. Because they're going to use their first timeout here. Kyle Juszczyk with a great block. We're almost getting to the first, not quite. 3rd and 2. And if we get a first, this is over. If we get a first, and this game is over. This would be a huge win. Not as embarrassing as the 27-2 loss, and we don't pick up the first. It's going to be 4th and 2. We are going to get a field goal regardless here, which is huge. As long as we make it. We have run 75% of the time. I feel like we're the Patriots almost. On the kick, Cade York is good, straight down the middle. Fantastic. I'm not too worried. We came out here at home, and we performed, and the Bears might be struggling to get into the wild card at this point. Despite Jarvis Landry's insane Moss touchdown in the back of the end zone, we have played amazing defense, and we have not had to really pass the ball all that much either. Getting pressure again. This time from Tariq Woolen. Tariq getting his first sack of the game. And Tariq is just so versatile, able to help out in so many ways. Throwing it underneath to Saquon. Getting the big hit is Kenneth Murray Jr. And 3rd and 11, they're running no huddle. We're dropping back into coverage again. I'm all over George Kittle, and he runs a crazy out route, and it's going to be an incompletion. Thrown out of bounds. Now 4th and 11 here, and they obviously have to go for it. And we're going to play, we're only bringing 3, but we're going to play a contain. Playing up the middle here. Watching everything, and he's trying to scramble on 4th and 11, and he can't do anything, and we drop him. And that is going to be the end of the game. Hopefully they don't use our timeouts at this point, because this thing is over. The one concern out of this game, though, is how is Jameson Williams doing? What is his recovery timeline? Because we are only 1 game against the Packers away from the playoffs. And if we don't get the 1 seed, we do not have a wild card bye. But we will be playing at home. But will Jameson be able to play in that game? Because we cannot rely on Ramondre to have a game like this every single game. We've just shown in the past that that's not what we can do consistently. Looking at the stats for this game, it's going to be interesting. For sure. Kirk and Mariota having very similar stat lines, but you know, Mariota with 1 TD, 1 interception. Kirk with only 9 pass attempts. Mariota with only 14. Running the ball, Ramondre. This is a workhorse game right here. 33 carries, 166 rushing yards, 5 yards per carry, 2 TDs. Almost as many TDs as he's had all season. Significantly outperforming Saquon. Catching the ball, obviously we're not throwing a lot of passes, but of the passes we did throw, Jameson with 3 catches for 60 yards, having a great game. Comparatively, no one else really did much. You know, Cooper didn't have a single catch. It was only Jameson and Colby Parkinson that had catches for us. So when we are missing our number 1 target in a game, you know that's a problem. Leading the way on defense, Christian Harris with 5 tackles. Sacks, DeMarcus Lawrence with 2, Tariq with 1. Interceptions, Surtain with 1 interception in the back of the end zone. And we should almost have 2, but Eric Stokes got mossed in the back of the end zone. And Ramondre with an upgrade, and he deserves one after that game. We're going to upgrade his elusiveness, actually. He's already got that ability to break tackles and the ability to stiff arm and truck people. We want to work on, again, his break tackle as elusiveness, but also his shiftiness a little bit as well. LJ Fort getting an upgrade here. Not really too concerned about upgrading him all that much. He is a little bit older, so he is regressing already. But it's nice to have that depth on the team and have him have an upgrade. Calvin Austin, not really touching the field at all, but he gets an upgrade as well. And we're going to upgrade him as a playmaker. Again, he is a player that could potentially fill in at that Cordarrelle spot if Cordarrelle were to be injured, or later on down the line, you know, coming in the next couple of seasons, he could fill in as a more receiving back. So it's good to see him get an upgrade. And looking at the injury here with Jameson Williams, broken ribs, out for 4 weeks. That is a huge injury for us, because now we're back to our original offense at the beginning of the season where, you know, Jameson was injured and it was just Cooper and Julio. And then I guess back then we did have Mercedes Lewis at tight end, so that was also a limiting factor in the passing game. But now we do have Colby Parkinson, and he's a legitimate target, and Juwan Johnson is solid as well. But, you know, if Ramondre's not running the football effectively, then we've got to rely on Julio a lot more than we have all season. All right, guys, I'm very excited. We are in the last week of the season playing against the Packers, who are now 7-9. The Bears have dropped to 9-7. And looking at the standings here, I guess we don't have to look at the standings. We can look at the playoff picture. Looking at the playoff picture after our 27-8 win, and the Bears are at the number 7 spot. So if they were to lose their last game of the season, they may fall out of the playoffs. And we have vaulted into the number 1 spot right now. So we have a bye for the wild card, which is huge. And we'd be playing the winner of, well, I guess it would be the lowest seed. So we actually don't know who we would be playing in our first round in the divisional. But getting that bye would be huge. So we have to come out here and win this last game against the Packers. And, you know, the Packers are no slouch. They're a solid team at 7-9. All right, so team meeting rivalry rematch. Now, this is the team with Geno and with Nelson Aguilar and Deebo Samuel. So Mercedes Lewis is trying to hype up the team, which is kind of surprising, given that he's not really playing much anymore. No need to try and do too much out there, guys. We know what it takes to beat them. We did it once, time to do it again. Let's get that sweep, boys. And not only for the sweep, that's not what really matters. What really matters is we need to win this game to maintain the number 1 seed in the NFC. You know, when I think about it, this is actually a very realistic outcome for a Kirk Cousins-led team with a lot of talent on it. Coming out here and winning the entire NFC is very possible. We have a lot of talent all around the team, and our division is relatively weak, actually, for the most part. You know, it was shaping up to be really tight with the Bears, but they ended up falling off, especially after we beat them in the last game. But, you know, there's not a lot of elite quarterbacks in our division, and not even in our conference. So it's definitely within the realm of possibility that we would come out here and win this many games this season. We definitely put ourselves in a great position all season, just, you know, dominating the run game defensively and almost getting our first interception with Eric Stokes, playing great coverage to start out with. And Geno's testing our defense immediately. And Cooper is out of the game with a knee injury. Tyron is out of the game with a knee injury, or with some sort of injury. And obviously Jameson is out with that injury he got last week. And this is rough. We are undermanned in this game, especially on the offense. Getting the interception that was Isaiah Simmons just baiting the curl to Tyler Conklin, and he's going to take this in for the pick six. And if we can't score on offense, even though we haven't had the ball yet, we can score on defense. And Gino just lofting up the pick six to Isaiah Simmons, who now by far leads the team for defensive touchdowns, I think with almost 5 on the season. And he's got as many TDs as Ramondre does this season, which is insane to say. And they're coming out in shotgun again here. Probably going to try to run the football a little bit more after they threw that interception. Let's see if they get it to David Montgomery. And they're not. They're passing it again. Throwing it underneath. Trying to get the big hit with Isaiah Simmons after getting that pick. And it's going to be 2nd and 5 after the throw. A little bit more conservative here. Getting into I form now. We got a one-on-one on the outside with Eric Stokes and Debo. I got to watch that closely. And it is actually a run with David Montgomery to the outside. And Isaiah Simmons crossing over from the left side to the right side of the field with his elite pursuit. And is able to lay the hit on David Montgomery and stop a potentially huge run. It's going to be 3rd and inches now. In a situation where we can get another huge stop. And they're in a formation with 2 tight ends down. And we're watching the out, but the slant is open to Rondale Moore against Surtain. Watching the run again here with Christian Harris. But Calais Campbell doing a great job getting to Ronald Jones immediately. Getting back into base 3-4 coverage, though. They do have 3 receivers out wide. You got to worry about that a little bit. Worrying about stuff underneath. And they do not have enough time to get it away with Gino. And we get pressure immediately, so it's going to be 3rd and 9. And Gino's feeling the pressure. I can definitely see that. He's definitely trying to get the ball out quickly because we are bringing people out. And we are watching... Oh, on the comeback route. Did he get his feet in bounds? He did not quite. Calais, though, coming down with another injury. Grabbing his pec. I don't like to see that. Another injury to this team. And we're getting a lot of injuries in the last couple of weeks of the season. But to be fair, we did not have a lot of injuries most of the season, so it seems like we're getting really bad timing on some of these injuries. Cordell getting a couple big blocks here, getting it up to the 30. And again, I cannot stress on our first drive here on offense how important it is that we win this game just for the #1 seed in the NFC. Ramondre trying to get a truck, but getting stopped for 1 yard. And Calais Campbell going out of this game with a dislocated shoulder. So we've got a couple key injuries in this game. Coming out here with 2 tight ends. And I threw it a little early there. And it's going to be 3rd and 9. Putting us in a definite passing situation here on 3rd and 9. Got a one-on-one on the outside with Julio. Julio able to play well against the press and comes up and gets a huge catch. And that is something that we have not seen Julio do much this season. He has mostly been in our slot, actually, and he has not gone up for a lot of jump balls as of late. Still continuing to run the football with success, picking up 4 yards on the first down. Coming out here in another sort of jumbo formation. We're going to run a little play action here, but the only thing I don't like is the route I'm kind of looking for is Mercedes Lewis's route. We're throwing it underneath, though, to Juwan Johnson, and he gains 0 yards in the play. On 3rd and 6. Oh, and I hit the wrong receiver. I was going for Colby Parkinson, and it gets intercepted. And that is Calvin Austin on the field. I had Colby streaking across wide open, and I accidentally threw it to Calvin Austin. Watching the slant, and it still gets completed to Rondale Moore, and he is doing well in one-on-one coverage versus Patrick Surtain. With 20 seconds left here in the first quarter, in I formation, we're kind of beat through the gap. Christian Harris, though, able to get the big hit on Ronald Jones. Just to start the second quarter, running up the middle here. Ronald Jones able to force off Trey Hendrickson. But it's going to be 3rd and 8. Playing cover 1 here. Not a lot of support from the safeties. And underneath, able to break up the passes. Browning, not usually in one-on-one man coverage against a tight end, but he does a great job on that play. Gino not really giving his tight end enough time. Not really putting a lot of air under the ball. Letting Browning make a play on it. We don't want to even return that. Let that go out of bounds. Luckily, Cordell almost touched it with his leg. From the 20-yard line, running it with Ramondre. Getting outside. Getting good blocks from Julio. Up to the 26. We got some key weapons out of this game, so we got to be more clinical with how we make decisions here. Calvin Austin getting the handoff. Almost getting the first. It's going to be 3rd and 2. Julio one-on-one, throwing it to the outside. Cannot get the catch. And we are being put in a difficult situation right now with Cooper out for the game and Jameson out for a couple weeks here. Julio is our #1 target. And we did a great job on the punt, but it rolls down into the end zone from the 1. And they're going to get it back at the 20. Watching the out route to the tight end, but Debo able to get open on the slant. We're playing cover 1 again here. In a balanced formation. Get Devin McCourty dropping down. They get a couple outs. Isaiah Simmons able to come up with the tackle, but they do pick up the first down. And consistently, playing against this Packers team is frustrating because they just go for short yardage so much. And it's just, you know, wears you down a little bit over time. Having to guard all these short outs, these drags. Run a little fake jet sweep here. And DeMarcus Lawrence able to get at least his hands on Ronald Jones so other people can come in and make the tackle finally. Dropping back into cover 3 here on 2nd and 8. It looks like a different passing situation right now. It's a screen, though. I see it. And we get there with Kenneth Murray Jr. and lay a huge hit on Ronald Jones, forcing him for a loss of 1. Kenneth Murray with that ability, with that speed, just to get over from the opposite side of the field and make a play on the screen pass. Definitely a passing situation here in empty. Watching the... Oh! And Tariq not able to get a pick on the play. We were watching the crossing route over the middle, but able to get open on the curl in single man coverage. Now they got another single back situation here. Watching the pass, they got a couple receivers open, but it's an overthrow by Geno to Surtain again. And Surtain could possibly take this for another pick 6. Oh, but he gets just tackled from behind, just barely down at the 26. And that would have been Surtain's best imitation of what Isaiah Simmons did earlier in this game. Get some good blocks on the counter. We're taking it outside, but again, tackled just barely from behind. Cordarrelle doing a great job, though, following his blockers, getting 10 yards on the first carry. Just barely. Just not quite picking up the first, but another good situation where we're getting great blocks again. Getting down at the 7. And I don't want to rob Ramondre of his opportunity to score in the red zone here, so we're going to get him in the game. And so far, the Packers, despite having a great D-line, are not getting a lot of pressure on the run, and we are not able to quite burst through that hole, burst through that gap. But we're not running away from the run. After we had success against the Bears, and Ramondre carries a defender in, and for the touchdown, his 6th of the season. Ramondre stacking up the TDs late in the season here against divisional opponents. And we are having more success in the red zone running the football than we have all season. Based off of how they've been turning the football over, we can see that right now they're going to be passing. So I guess they are going to be going for it a little bit here. A couple drags, we're watching everything. But over the middle on the curl, Isaiah Simmons coming down and laying a big hit on Rondale Moore. But he holds onto the football. We're watching this out route all the way. We can see it coming. Oh, but they throw it early. Christian Harris still doing a great job being right next to Tyler Conklin, getting the tackle on him. But they threw it earlier than I thought they were going to. And we can already see this is going to be another passing situation. And we're playing underneath, and we get pressure on Geno, but it's not going to be a fumble. It looked like it might have been, but it was just an incompletion. Another situation where they're going to be passing on 2nd and 10 with an empty backfield. And that's just another poor throw by Geno to nobody in particular. It's going to be 3rd and 10 now. They've had a couple interesting passes from Geno in this game. We're baiting this outside throw all the way, but they throw a really bad pass again by Geno. Getting a block here. Can we take this one all the way? There's no one there to stop him but the O-line. Geno can't catch Surtain, and this time Surtain takes it all the way back for the pick 6, and we have scored all of our points off of pick 6s in this game. Geno having his worst game probably of the season, but definitely the worst game that he's had against us. Getting some big blocks here on the kick return. Almost able to make something crazy happen with Marquise again. And I misspoke a little bit earlier. We did have, obviously, that one rushing touchdown with Ramondre. So 2 pick sixes and 1 rushing TD with Ramondre. 1st and 10. We're going to go ahead and get back to the running game here. And we got some great blocks again. And the Packers are not getting quick to the football. They look a little demoralized here. Already 21-0. And this Packers defense was a lot tougher to play against the last time we played them. Ramondre with a big stiff arm, with a head of steam, bringing it up to the 50-yard line. And I am uber impressed with how Ramondre has played late in the season here. I've already talked about it, ad nauseum at this point, talking so much about how the run game has been a massive success. But, we did not see this production this season. As far back, the last time I saw production like this in the run game was when we were in the preseason with Ramondre. Little play action here. And we might have a deep ball for the TD here if we can get it over the top. And we do! Marquise Goodwin getting in for a TD. And the Packers are just falling apart. 28-0. What an absolute moon ball. That wasn't really a moon ball. It was kind of a bullet, but just a fantastic pass by Kirk Cousins. One of his better passes of the season. Throwing it over the safety's head. And at this point, this is definitely a blowout. The Packers have not really established anything on offense besides turning the football over. We have been just dominating. And almost getting our second interception there on the out to Tyler Conklin. Geno Smith is seeing ghosts. 9 for 19 in this game, just forcing up passes. I think he's feeling the pressure from our D-line, which is great. And I'm watching, let's see, it looks like it's just an out here. Watching the out all the way. And we get pressure again. And yeah, Geno's definitely feeling the pressure. I think that's why he's throwing up some risky passes. He does not have enough time in the pocket here. But in that situation, maybe he should have the running back block a little bit, or we got a couple people over the top. Oh, we did not watch the middle though. 3rd and 10. That's going to be just enough to pick up the first down and a little bit more. I was too busy watching the out by the tight end than watching the actual route that was open over the middle here. Able to come down and get a nice tackle as Kenneth Murray Jr. 2nd and 8. And we kind of see what the routes are going to be looking like already again here with full momentum in this game. It's definitely a cheat code. I didn't know this was going to be kind of our... Wow. And that was Max Crosby, I think, coming down there getting pressure again. Our D-line is just going crazy on this O-line right now. And they're moving, switching formations here. We're watching the route over the top. Geno has time this time, trying to throw it up, and it's going to be out of bounds again. Geno, even when he has time, is not reading the defense properly and throwing a lot of passes that are going out of bounds, just very inaccurate today at home. And they're going to have to punt again here, and we're going to be returning with Cordarrelle. And for some reason, Janoris Jenkins gets in the way of the punt return, and they're going to get it back at the 12-yard line. He's just standing on top of Cordarrelle. I thought he was going to get out of the way at some point, but he did not. We're watching. And trying to go for the pick. Probably shouldn't have done that, but Surtain with the big hit. Forcing him out at the 2, and this is a goal line situation here. We're going to run commit. Because I don't trust... if Geno throws a pass here, I think it could be an interception. Kenneth Murray trying to get it over the middle, but everyone getting into the backfield on the run commit. And this one's play action. We did not run commit on this, but they're able to complete the pass. Tyler Conklin for the touchdown. Now, what I'm curious to see is who we will be playing in the first round if we maintain this win over the Packers. By first round, I mean divisional round, because obviously we will not be playing in the wild card week, but we'll have the advantage of being able to play at home in the divisional, and I'm curious to see who we're going to play. It's very possible that we're going to play the Bears again, and they're able to actually get some people into the backfield there, stop us for only a gain of 2. Throwing underneath to Colby Parkinson. Able to almost pick up the first. Ramondre again running the football. Only a couple yards on that run. Now the thing is, 28-7, we're almost at the point where I want to sit people because I don't want them to get injured. We already have so many injuries on offense. Going into the playoffs, we do have... Oh, wow, they're getting into the backfield quickly. We just throw it away, I guess. I mean, I was trying to get to Juwan Johnson on the underneath route, but that was a very inaccurate pass. But, we don't want to be in a situation where we have even more injuries going into the playoffs here. We do have that one, 1 week bye here. Nice little route underneath the Colby Parkinson, but we have that one, week off, but as we've seen, Jamison Williams is going to be out for our first game in the playoffs, no matter what in the divisional, most likely. And we cannot afford to have anyone else be missing, regardless of who we're playing against. Ramondre breaking a tackle on 1st and 10 and able to carry a defender up to the 48-yard line for a gain of 5. Come back in I form here. Get some good blocks. And, again, getting thrown down just short of the first down marker. And if we get the first down here, I'm going to go ahead and sub Malik Willis in if we get this first. We have plenty of time to throw it over the middle of Julio. And at this point, yeah, I'm going to sub Ramondre out. I'm going to sub... Alright, this is the last play for Kirk and Ramondre. After this, they are going to be subbed out. And great, another cut. Only getting 60 yards in this game before he gets subbed here, but had a fantastic game. Malik coming into the game now with Cordarrelle in the backfield. 2nd and 5. Falling with blockers and not quite able to pick up the first down, but now that we have Malik Willis in, we can run a little read option again. Malik did not get a lot of chances this season to come in and play significantly. He had one chance to possibly take over the starting job, and he did not really play very well, and we get stopped on 3rd and inches. Probably should have just given it to Cordarrelle up the middle. Loss of 4. But he did not make the most of his opportunities. Had 2 interceptions and his one chance to possibly take over the starting job. But then he came in later in the season in a blowout and had 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions and played very well with 200 passing yards. So, he has had his ups and downs this season in the limited playing time he's had. As a 70 overall, coming in next season, he's going to be 24 years old. Still definitely a viable future starting QB, but not necessarily the QB. When we started this franchise, not necessarily the QB that I was looking for age-wise. He is on the older end, like I said before, but he does have those intangibles and those traits that we're looking for in terms of speed and throw power, so we cannot just end it right there. And what a catch by Rondale Moore over Surtain. But, yeah, Malik looking very good. Obviously, Kirk is going to be regressing next season, most likely. We don't know how much, but Surtain coming down and getting his 3rd pick of the game, I believe, in his 2nd pick 6. And at this point, yeah, they're booing Geno a little bit, having a horrible game, seeing ghosts, like I said. We're getting so much pressure, he doesn't know what to do. And this has been a huge blowout at this point. But, yeah, let me know, if you're watching this video, let me know what you think about the prospect of looking at Malik Willis a little bit more seriously next season. And again, this is more like GM. This is GM Swish talking, not Coach Swish, because Coach Swish, we're worried about right now making the playoffs. Not making the playoffs, but winning in the playoffs, going as far as we can with this team. But, looking into the future, Kirk is definitely getting older, and he's going to be getting worse. So this season, I wasn't sure whether or not he's going to be able to finish the whole season, to be honest, and he surprised me. And it wasn't just him, though. It was an all-out team effort. The run game was fantastic and carried when it needed to. I think the thing that kind of was the major point of this season is different parts of the team stepped up when we needed them most. Like, when we needed the passing game to step up, it did. When we needed the run game to step up, it did. And when we needed... Oh, another curl route. When we needed the defense to step up, they did. And so this is why, we have such a good record, because the entire team has played so well all season, not just Kirk, but Kirk definitely had a lot of turnovers this season. And again, he's not that prototypical QB that I'm necessarily looking for, but he managed the offense well enough to hold on to his job and at least be given an opportunity to continue being the starting QB next year. We'll have to wait and see how things go in the playoffs as well, though. I'm getting a lot of good coverage here, and there's no way he caught that in bounds. He did not. Okay, he's going to be out of bounds. But that's just kind of my thoughts right now going into the playoffs now, just looking into the next season again. This is GM Swish, not Coach Swish. And getting pressure on Geno again here. At this point, I don't know why Geno's in the game. 38-7 with 40 seconds left of the season. They're not making the playoffs. I guess it's just for pride at this point. But they got a couple people on goes here, and we're just dropping back into coverage. Surtain with the opportunity to get his fourth, but he gets mossed down at the 6 by Nelson Aguilar. And I remember that's a familiar sight. Nelson Aguilar had a moss touchdown the last time we played against the Packers, when we only won by 4 points in our first meetup. I'm going to go ahead and watch potentially the zig here. Almost getting the interception. Christian Harris playing great coverage there. For a second, I was worried that he might be injured, but Tyler Conklin with his second touchdown of the game. First time beating Surtain, second time beating Christian Harris in coverage. But Christian Harris, was just right on top of him, just couldn't get his hands on the football. And finally, Geno comes down and is able to score a TD and actually, take his team and consistently drive down the field for once instead of just throwing up a Hail Mary. Okay, with 30 seconds left, this is the end of the regular season. Again, one thing I talked about is next season we're going to be looking to switch over to Sim, too. That's going to be one major focus. Switching over to Sim, we might make the quarters a little bit longer as well. We'll see. We will see. But to end off the season, we're going to be 13-4, which I'm super happy about. I did not anticipate that with the team we had drafted. Oh, and we fumbled, but luckily it's out of bounds. So I was trying to get to the sideline. Yeah, I did not expect this team to play as well as we have. I did not anticipate making the playoffs even. But to win the division and to win the entire NFC is obviously, this team has a lot of heart and has definitely exceeded my expectations significantly. And that is the end of the game. That is our 3-game episode. And we came out and we played incredibly well in our last 2 divisional games. And we won when we needed to most to secure the division first, and secondly to secure the NFC. Looking at the stats for the game, we've got a couple huge stats to look at. Kirk with 1 TD, 1 pick. Geno with 4 interceptions. Running wise, Ramondre with 60 rushing yards, having a solid game, getting 1 touchdown. And then Cordarrelle with 40 rushing yards, very solid. Malik with 50 of his own when he got to finally come in. Receiving, Marquise Goodwin with that 150-yard catch, very nice for the touchdown. Julio with one of his bigger games, 2 catches for 50 yards. And then we have Colby with 2 catches for 19 yards. Juwan Johnson almost with a catch for yards, but not quite. Defensively, leading the way in tackles with Surtain, and then Isaiah Simmons and Christian Harris. In sacks, we did not have a single sack, but we had 3 interceptions with Surtain. What's actually surprising to me is we had 0 sacks, but we had so much pressure on Geno. I think what ended up happening is Geno would get it away before getting sacked, but it would either end up being a wild incompletion or it would get picked off by Surtain. And Surtain finished with 2 pick sixes and 3 interceptions, and Isaiah Simmons with 1 pick six of his own. So the defense putting up 21 points by themselves was the reason why we won this game by so much. And after the game, we got a couple more upgrades. Colby Parkinson getting to his official 70 overall rating here. We're going to upgrade his vertical threat a little bit more. And he does have some other, he got a couple nice boosts here too. Just his overall blocking and also his route running. But just nice to see him, with his boost to get up to, like a 71 overall. Christian Harris with a couple of different boosts here, getting up to a 70 right now. Getting him another upgrade now to his pass coverage. And again, we've been kind of consistently, he's had a lot of upgrades this season, but we've been working on his pass coverage along with his run stopping and his field general. So he's a very balanced middle linebacker, and he's just kind of good at everything for being only a 70 or 69 overall, really. Lastly, we have an upgrade to Jackson Carman, our backup left guard. And getting him up to a 68 overall is nice. We're going to have to see before we get into the divisional round, kind of how the seedings shake out in the playoffs, but also, what sort of injuries we're going to have going into the divisional game. And before getting into the playoffs, we're going to look at our final round of negotiations before free agency. And Al Woods is a player that I'm not interested in re-signing yet. Marquise Goodwin's on that older side of being a wide receiver. Bruce Irvin is too old for me to want to re-sign. Larry Borum wants a lot of money to be a backup left tackle. He is a 70 overall, though, so he is viable. I'm going to go ahead and offer him a player-friendly contract, but I'm going to go for multiple years here. And for a backup, this is quite a bit of money. He is okay with the deal. Okay, fantastic. Jackson Carman, 22 years old, 68 overall. We want to continue to develop these backup O-linemen, and I don't want to let them go. And so we're going to give him a little bit of a boost here. Try to sign him for multiple years. And so he is opting to re-sign, so that's good. We still have some cap room here. Zion McCollum is interested in re-signing as a backup corner. 6'2", 23 years old. He's got good physicals. I am okay with not giving him all too much money, and I want to sign him for a couple of years. I'm going to give him $1 million per year. And he's happy with that as a backup corner. He's not going to touch the field for a long time, I don't think. Derek Young, 23 years old, a receiver for the Seahawks. And I do like him as a player. So, he's not a player, too, that's not going to get a lot of PT probably for a while, but he's going to be re-signing. That's fantastic. We still have a lot of cap room. Very happy about that. Marcus Allen is on the older side, and he's 66 overall. I'm not interested in re-signing him yet. Thayer Munford, 22 years old, our backup right tackle. This is another player that I'd want to continue to have him on the team for, a couple years. See if he wants to re-sign. He does want to re-sign, so that's great. And Yusuf Corker forcing a fumble is his one big play of the season. He has no interest in re-signing. He's very young, but he does not have the physicals, as far as I remember, that we want to see on the team. 88 speed, only 6 feet tall. He doesn't have really great stats in anything besides hit power. And, I do love my hit power safeties, but I think we're going to let him go for now and see if he is available in free agency. We're going to have to wait and see. I mean, he wouldn't cost all that much. But we do want to re-sign Jaden Peavy, and we want to have a little bit of money in free agency just in case we want to sign anybody. Jaden Peavy, we're going to try to re-sign him, though, at 22 years old. See what it takes. Get him locked up for a couple of years. And he wants to sign, too, so that's probably a little bit of an overpay for a very low overall D-tackle, but we got a lot of our younger players re-signed, which I'm very happy about. And to start off with, we're going to look at the playoff bracket here. So we did end up winning the NFC, right? So we're not playing in the wild card. The Bears are at number 7. So if the Bears somehow beat the Saints, we would play against them. Also, we have the Giants playing against the Eagles and the Cardinals playing against the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers have fallen out of, they were at one point the leader in the NFC. And so now they're the wild card because the Saints actually won their division. Texans are still number 1 in the AFC, so that's cool to see. Definitely a unique team to be winning the AFC. And looking at the weekly awards from last week, and Surtain obviously, leading the way with 3 interceptions and 2 pick sixes. And we're going to wait before we're looking at the yearly awards here. I want to save that for when they're officially announced. But we're going to move on to the divisional and see who we are playing against. And in the divisional, we are facing a rematch against the Bears. That is exactly kind of what I wanted to see. So the Bears actually come out and beat the number 2 seeded Saints by 1 point. The Giants beat the Eagles, and the Buccaneers beat the Cardinals. So it is our division rival Bears that we're playing against, and on the other side of the NFC, it's the Giants versus the Buccaneers. Now, we've got a couple of different storylines here in the press that we're going to be talking about. The Bears are struggling. It's interesting that they're saying that. We're going to say we're coming in with no fear, especially after beating them in our previous game, but the Bears, it says they're struggling, but again, they just beat the number 2 seed Saints in the wild card. in New Orleans. So I don't know about, struggling right now. They definitely are a Cinderella right now. So this is our first playoff game, obviously. And do we want to guarantee a win against our divisional opponents, our division rivals in the Bears? We're going to play it cool because that would be incredibly cocky. We lost one game, we won one game. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys sticking through for these last 3 games, and we are going to play our game against the Bears coming up next week, or next episode, I guess I should say. Next episode, we're playing against the Bears, and this should be a great game, playing against a team we've lost to once and beat once, and, just a great rivalry in the NFC North. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.